As we dive into a period of skyrocketing food prices, it's crucial to stay informed and prepared. Recent developments, including adverse weather conditions and questionable trade policies, have significantly impacted the affordability of essential items like bread, milk, and eggs. These rising costs are forcing families to rethink their budgets and find creative ways to make ends meet. In this video, we'll identify 7 specific foods expected to see a dramatic price increase in the coming month. We'll also explore the underlying causes and discuss practical strategies to help you cushion the financial blow. From growing your own produce to capitalizing on local deals and bartering with neighbors, there are numerous ways to mitigate these challenges. Stay tuned to learn how community strength and preparedness can guide us through these turbulent times. 1. Cheese. The cheese market is currently undergoing a significant transformation due to several converging factors that are driving up costs across the board. One primary challenge is the shortage of milk, which forms the foundation of all cheese varieties. This shortage is caused by a combination of fluctuating herd sizes, seasonal production variations, and shifts in dietary trends that have reduced the overall availability of milk. Dairy farmers facing increased costs and lower yields find it difficult to maintain a steady supply of high-quality milk necessary for cheese production. As a result, the volume of milk available for cheesemaking diminishes, thereby increasing its cost. Compounding the issue of milk shortages is the scarcity of specialized labor. Cheese production is a meticulous craft that requires skilled workers for tasks such as monitoring fermentation and overseeing the aging process. Unfortunately, reduced availability of these skilled workers has hampered the smooth operation of both large-scale and artisanal cheese producers. Labor shortages lead to slower production rates and increased wages, which in turn elevate the overall cost of cheese. Moreover, the transportation of cheese from farms to markets has become increasingly expensive due to rising fuel prices and logistical challenges. High transportation costs affect every stage of the supply chain, from the delivery of raw materials to the shipment of finished products to retailers. These increased logistical expenses inevitably translate to higher prices on store shelves. Producers and distributors must grapple with the challenge of balancing these costs while trying to remain competitive in the market. As a direct consequence of these challenges, cheese prices have escalated and will likely continue to rise. The combined effects of a reduced milk supply, labor shortages, and high transportation costs have put considerable upward pressure on prices. This inflation is felt throughout the entire supply chain, affecting dairy farmers, cheesemakers, and retailers. Each link in the chain experiences increased costs, which are ultimately passed on to consumers. Pasta. Pasta, a versatile and beloved dietary staple, is set to experience a significant rise in costs due to a confluence of factors impacting its production and distribution. One of the primary drivers behind the soaring pasta prices is the increase in wheat prices. Wheat, the essential ingredient in pasta, has become more expensive due to adverse weather conditions impacting crop yields across major producing regions. Additionally, surging global demand and issues within transportation networks have further exacerbated the situation, creating a perfect storm that drives up the cost of producing pasta. Compounding the issue of rising raw material costs are significant disruptions within the supply chain. The pandemic has led to delays in shipments and severe labor shortages, both of which are critically affecting pasta manufacturers' ability to produce and distribute their products efficiently. Factories have struggled to maintain consistent production schedules, and transportation bottlenecks have delayed the timely delivery of essential ingredients and finished products. This combination of factors has caused a ripple effect throughout the industry, making it challenging to meet demand without passing on these higher costs to consumers. The impact of these disruptions on prices is considerable. Analysts predict that pasta prices could potentially double or even more in the coming months. Beyond price hikes, the availability of pasta may also become inconsistent. Shelves that were once fully stocked with a variety of pasta shapes and brands may begin to look sparse, with certain types becoming harder to find altogether. This inconsistency also raises concerns for consumers who rely heavily on pasta as a convenient and affordable meal option. Higher pasta prices have significant implications for food security, especially within vulnerable communities. For many, pasta is a budget-friendly and nutritious option that forms the backbone of daily diets. As prices rise, those already facing economic hardships will find it increasingly difficult to afford this staple, leading to potential nutritional deficiencies and increased food insecurity. This situation underscores the need for immediate and long-term solutions to ensure that everyone has access to affordable and nutritious food. One viable approach is to explore alternative carbohydrate sources. Substitutes such as rice, potatoes, or lesser-known grains can offer nutritional benefits while potentially easing the demand pressure on wheat. Additionally, making pasta at home from scratch allows individuals to control costs and ingredients. Supporting local pasta producers and advocating for sustainable farming practices are other effective strategies to create a more resilient food system. By fostering a diverse and sustainable local economy, communities can buffer against global supply chain disruptions. 3, chicken and eggs. The ongoing impact of avian flu on poultry has created a substantial disruption in the supply of chicken and eggs, contributing to significant price increases that consumers will unmistakably feel in June. Avian flu outbreaks have forced poultry farms to implement mass cullings of infected flocks, a measure necessary to halt the spread of the virus, but one that also drastically reduces the number of available chickens and egg-producing hens. This critical reduction in supply, combined with heightened biosecurity measures, has led to a substantial decrease in egg production across the country. As egg supplies dwindle, the market dynamics of supply and demand dictate a sharp rise in prices. Consumers who once took the affordability and availability of eggs for granted are now faced with a product that has become a premium item almost overnight. Additionally, chicken prices are similarly escalating due to the reduced availability of birds, further compounded by increased farming costs associated with heightened biosecurity efforts. The price increases affect not only household grocery budgets, but also reverberate through the food industry. Bakeries, restaurants, and food manufacturers who rely heavily on eggs and chicken are struggling to absorb these increased costs. For many businesses, this could mean reduced margins and unfortunate necessity to pass on the increased costs to consumers, or even cutbacks in production capabilities. The ripple effect also touches the broader economy, potentially leading to job losses in severely impacted sectors and diminishing consumer purchasing power. In light of these challenges, consumers and businesses alike are exploring alternative avenues. Egg substitutes and plant-based protein options are increasingly in demand as the search for affordable, available replacements intensifies. Recipes that were once egg or chicken-centric are being reinvented, utilizing ingredients that can help mitigate costs without compromising too much on quality or nutritional value. For these adaptations, although necessary, also highlight a growing acceptance and incorporation of sustainable food practices and innovation within culinary domains. Moreover, the role of government and regulatory bodies becomes crucial amidst this crisis. Effective monitoring of avian flu incidents, stringent enforcement of biosecurity regulations, and support for the poultry industry through research and developing viable preventive measures are paramount. Collaborative efforts between policymakers, industry players, and researchers are needed to seek long-term solutions that stabilize egg and chicken supplies while protecting both the producers and the end consumers. 4. Potatoes, a staple in many households across the globe, are facing significant threats that could lead to a dramatic increase in their cost in June. The primary culprits behind this worrying trend are insects and extreme weather conditions. Among the pests, the Colorado potato beetle stands out as a particularly menacing adversary for potato farmers. This insect can cause extensive damage to potato crops, severely impacting both the yield and quality of the tubers. At the same time, extreme weather events such as prolonged droughts, heavy rainfall, and unexpected frost further exacerbate the situation, leading to stressed plants and compromised harvests. The combined effect of these factors results in reduced crop yields and smaller tubers, which in turn drives up the market price of potatoes. The economic implications of these agricultural challenges are far-reaching. With potato supplies dwindling, consumers can expect to see prices soar, potentially doubling or even more. This places a significant financial burden on households that rely on potatoes as a cost-effective food source. Moreover, the ripple effects of these price hikes extend beyond the direct consumers. Farmers already grappling with increased operational costs and reduced yields face further financial strain. They may find themselves unable to invest in necessary inputs such as quality seeds, fertilizers, and pest control measures, creating a vicious cycle of declining productivity. Additionally, processors and distributors who deal in potatoes will face supply shortages, forcing them to either absorb the higher costs or pass them on to consumers, further inflating prices. Consumers are therefore forced to adapt to these rising potato costs in creative ways. One practical solution is for consumers to consider growing their own potatoes at home. Home gardening can be a rewarding endeavor, that not only helps offset the rising cost of buying potatoes, but also allows individuals to have greater control over the quality and availability of their produce. Additionally, exploring alternative carbohydrates such as rice and pasta can provide some respite from the increasing cost of potatoes. By diversifying their dietary staples, consumers can mitigate the financial impact and continue to maintain a balanced diet. Another critical way to address this issue is by supporting local farmers. Purchasing potatoes from nearby growers helps to sustain the local agricultural economy and reduces dependence on long and often vulnerable supply chains. By fostering a direct connection between producers and consumers, this approach ensures that more of the food dollar goes directly to those who grow the potatoes, thereby providing them with the necessary capital to invest in better farming practices. 5. Milk. Milk, a staple in many households, faces a significant price hike expected to take effect in June. Various factors contribute to this increase, threatening to double the current cost of milk and potentially altering consumer behavior. One primary influence is the ongoing labor shortages in the agricultural sector. Dairy farms in particular struggle to find skilled workers essential for the smooth operation of the farms and the adequate care of the herds. These shortages can disrupt daily farm activities, leading to inefficiencies and increased costs that inevitably trickle down to consumers. Additionally, rising operational costs form a substantial component of the price hike. Animal feed prices, energy costs, and transportation expenses have all surged. Feed prices, in particular, are driven up by extreme weather conditions that negatively affect crop yields. Consequently, farmers need to spend more to maintain their livestock, pushing up the price of dairy products. Energy and transportation costs also contribute significantly, as dairy farming is energy intensive and transporting milk requires a reliable logistics network. That means increased expenses culminate in a higher price tag for milk on supermarket shelves. The impact on consumers is multifaceted. With the possibility of milk prices doubling, families may need to reconsider their milk consumption patterns. Some might turn to plant-based milk alternatives such as almond or oat milk, which have grown in popularity. These alternatives not only offer a comparable nutritional profile, but also address concerns for those who are lactose intolerant or seeking to reduce their carbon footprint. For other families, exploring bulk buying might become a viable strategy to manage cost. Additionally, seeking alternative sources of calcium and protein, such as leafy greens and legumes, could become more common as people adapt to the rising prices. 6. Apple. Extreme weather events have wreaked havoc on apple harvests, causing significant disruptions in supply, inevitably leading to price hikes. Frost and hailstorms in particular have severely impacted apple crops, reducing the number of apples available for consumption. The immediate impact is a noticeable scarcity of apples in the market, which drives up prices as demand outstrips supply. These climatic adversities do more than just take a toll on the current year's harvest. They inflict lasting damage on the trees themselves. Giant freeze may take several seasons to recover, meaning that apple production could be compromised for years to come, exacerbating the already strained supply chain and perpetuating elevated costs. Financially, apple growers are under immense pressure due to these unpredictable weather events. The cost of repairing damaged orchards, replanting trees, and implementing preventative measures to shield future crops from similar disasters is substantial. These expenses invariably trickle down to consumers, who will see higher prices at their local supermarkets and farmers markets. The increased costs not only reflect the diminished supply, but also the added burdens borne by growers. In essence, the entire apple industry, from grower to consumer, is affected by the need to adapt to these new climatic realities. Consumers are not powerless in this scenario. However, there are several strategies that people can adopt to mitigate the impact of rising apple prices. One effective approach is to support local varieties and community-supported agriculture. By purchasing apples from local growers, consumers can reduce transportation costs and support those who are directly impacted by extreme weather. Additionally, preserving apples through methods such as canning or freezing can help maintain a steady supply and keep costs down. When prices are lower, buying in bulk and preserving can be a smart way to enjoy apples year-round without feeling the financial pinch. Further, shifting from fresh to preserve, frozen apples can offer a more cost-effective alternative during periods of high prices. Frozen apples can often be found at more stable prices and provide the same nutritional benefits as their fresh counterpart. This strategy allows consumers to maintain their dietary preferences without succumbing to the inflated costs of fresh apples. 7. Olive oil. The olive oil industry is currently experiencing significant challenges, which are expected to lead to price increases of up to 100 by June. Adverse weather conditions such as droughts and unexpected frosts have severely affected olive groves, particularly in Mediterranean countries. These extreme weather events have led to lower yields and poorer quality of olives, consequently reducing the volume of oil produced. The lower supply of olives directly impacts the availability of olive oil, creating a supply-demand imbalance that drives prices upward. Compounding the issue, geopolitical tensions in key olive oil producing regions are disrupting supply chains and increasing both production and distribution costs. The combination of reduced supply and heightened operational expenses is expected to cause a noticeable increase in olive oil prices. Consumers might see fewer options and higher prices on store shelves, leading to potential adjustments in their purchasing habits. They might opt for alternative oils or reduce their olive oil consumption as a way to mitigate the higher costs. Looking ahead, the industry may need to explore new growing areas or improve irrigation and cultivation techniques to ensure a stable supply in the future. By implementing these strategies, the sector can better adapt to climatic uncertainties and geopolitical disruptions, thereby maintaining its market presence and consumer trust.